Hi guys, here we are, this week's edition of the Comic Book Syndicate. We've got some questions here from some viewers. As you know, we've been is the word soliciting questions from our viewers, and it's actually working. People are sending us questions. So here's one from a feller named Stepper11. Now this guy's an old timer. He's been with us pretty much since the beginning, and this is what his question is. It says here, a friend of mine is an exec with one of the biggest comics retailers. Marvel has told him they plan to stop publishing the conventional monthly format comics in the near future, shifting to more e-formats and collected volumes. He says this will totally decimate his stores and mail-order businesses, especially if DC tries to copy that model. What do your sources in the biz say, and how do they plan to respond to the changes? Thanks. Well, Stepper11, our source is actually sitting with us right now at the table. So, Kevin Morris, what do you have to say about this? And have you heard anything like this at all recently?
No, I haven't heard anything about that. The big thing that was, I think it was on Newsarama and some of the other comic blogs, was that Archie Comics was going to release their comics as e-comic before it came to the stores. And so some of the retailers were upset about that, saying that it could drive down some of their business because people won't come and buy the book. But I have not heard Marvel or DC even thinking about that as the way to go.
Well, let me tell you something. We've got another expert here, and his credentials include having every single issue of Suicide Squad. George Rizzock, what do you think?
I didn't know about the Archie, but it has made sense to me for a while that this is going to be the way of the comic to a degree. Releasing it before the printed version, I think, is a big mistake. There's no reason to, poo where you eat, I guess, but you know what I mean? I think they owe it to comic fans to put out the printed version first. If I want to get an app for my eye laser, whatever the heck it is, and have it given to me every month on time, I mean, that's fine. It's a way to make money. It is the way that things are going. You know what I mean? Your DVDs don't matter for anything anymore, neither your CDs, all this sort of stuff. It's all very digital. And it is going to happen, and a lot of stores are going to close as a result. A lot of, shipping as well. But again, like vinyl, it'll stick around. Comics will be done. Just don't screw everybody over and give it to everybody else digitally, because that's just viral and free and blah, blah, blah.
Well, the thing is, who knows what could happen, but I certainly have not heard anything like this, and I can just say realistically, it's not going to happen anytime soon. At the very least, I can tell you this, that 10 years from now, we're still going to have Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, X-Men in paper format. Maybe Sabretooth will have his own monthly comic, online, but I really don't think the big guns will ever go away. But that's just me. Okay, now, this could go nowhere because I didn't pre-read it to you before the segment, but we do have another question. And this is from one of our newer viewers. His name is Iggy92. And it says here, have you used the Comixology app, DC and Marvel app, to read comics? And have you noticed people who never read or bought comics use these apps to be introduced into comics? Well, I can say safely that I have never heard of this app. I don't own an iPhone. I don't know what it is, so I don't know anything about it. But what about the two of you? George?
Ian has an iPad. Ian, who works over
Champ Ian.
The lovely Pogos. One of the first things he did with it was actually download Thor issues and the Scott Pilgrim, and then sat there and we sat in front of the movie and compared the panels, and it's actually really interesting how much detail is in one or the other. I loved it. I thought it was really a cool way to actually look at comics, which I sort of hate myself for because the paper version is really the only way to go. I don't want to be an old man or anything like that, but I think it's definitely gotten, Ian has been a friend of mine for years, and I've brought him in several comics over the years, and he has never read one of them until now. But that's one thing.
But when it's on the computer screen, he will read it.
Yes, absolutely.
Kevin?
I've never used it myself. I just can't do it. I have friends that have used it too, and they really like it because it's got some options, I guess, that you can do, whether panel to panel, page to page. So they really like it. I just can't do it, and I'll probably stay away from it.
Well, can I also disqualify you? You own pretty much every single Marvel comic published in the last 40 years. And in a completely unrelated note, we're going to join our super friend Agnes Garbowska in Toronto and talk to her about what she's been doing lately. Agnes?
Well, right now I'm doing my own webcomics on agnesgarbowska.com. There's 3 of them online. And in the past year, I have worked for Marvel. I did their Girl Comics issue 1, a short story in there, and also a short story in Spider-Ham 25th Anniversary Special.
And how was it working for Marvel?
It was so much fun. It was great stories, and both stories were really different. and I enjoyed them very much.
And did you grow up reading Marvel comics?
I actually did. I grew up reading Marvel and I got into DC later on, but my very first comic was an X-Men comic, so.
Do you remember which one it was?
Actually, I don't, but I know it had Rogue in it.
Okay, and is that what attracted you to it? You like Rogue?
Well, I liked the whole concept of the comic. I liked seeing the pictures and reading along, and it was really easy to go with the story, and it just let my imagination go with the characters and made me want to draw them as well because they're so intriguing. So as a kid, I was drawing them for fun, but then the older I got, I'm like, hey, this would be kind of cool to work in comics, and it wasn't until I graduated from school that I was getting into it more full time.
So that must have been pretty exciting then to work for Marvel after growing up on them, right? Sort of?
Yeah, it was super exciting. When I got that first email, I was so stoked. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I screamed and just ran to my boyfriend going, look at the email. So it was totally cool.
That's great. So do you see yourself doing more work for Marvel in the near future?
I hope so. It looks like I might be doing something small for them again, and I hope it continues. And so far they like what I'm doing, so hopefully more projects will come. And there is one in the works. It's something small, but it's something, and it's cool because it's for Marvel.
Great. Okay. And what about your self-published stuff over here? I see you've got You, Me, and Zombie.
Yep, that is one of my 3 comics that is online. It's a story about a girl and her dog and their adventure in a world full of zombies. It's actually an all-age zombie book. Online, I have a story called Imagination Station about 3 girls that imagine their entire world as a giant space adventure. And a story called Waking Up Abby, which is this poor girl that wakes up every day with a new ability. Sometimes it's good, but other times it's actually pretty bad.
Okay, and how can you get those ones?
You could just go to my website, www.agnesgarbowska.com. It's pretty much sounds just like it's spelled. And you can find them right on the main page, and there's also activity pages on there as well. Comic Book Syndicate, assemble!